Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Trouble Plays YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, January 4th, and I'm back breaking down some more college basketball. Bad day on Friday, back-to-back bad days. Ohio State. Every time I hitch to my wagon to Ohio State, they suck. Every time I don't, they play well. Don't know what it is. Didn't play well tonight. Poor shooting, good defense by Michigan State. Bruce Thornton, nowhere close, at 10 points, needed 16.5. Ohio State money line, lost by 7, 69-62. Final score. Did make a push late in the game. I think it was a 4-point game with a couple minutes left, but Michigan State did close it out, made their free throws. Good for them. Teams who make free throws typically win games, especially in March. So that is something to look at for March Madness. But today, I'm just going to try to forget all this. We've got a monster slate of games. We are going to be looking at 3 top 25 matchups, have 2 player props as well. Also going to touch on Tennessee going up against Arkansas. Didn't make a graphic for it, but I definitely have a side that I would trust in that game. So let's get into it. We're going to be looking at Florida going up against Kentucky first. This is a 10 a.m. tip-off on a Saturday morning. So hopefully we got some early birds. Probably going to drop this video at 5 a.m. Wish I would have known the 10 a.m. start time. I would have tried to done it before work today. But it is 10 p.m. currently, and I'm going to drop this at 5 o'clock in the morning. So hopefully everybody has time to watch this. I would say this is my favorite play of the day. It's going to be Florida plus 3.5 going up against Kentucky. Kentucky is a fantastic team. Kentucky has been battle-tested this season. They do have monster wins this year, one going up against Duke, one going up against Gonzaga. They also have some pretty bad to decent losses at Clemson. I'm not going to judge them for that one. Tough place to play at Clemson. Clemson, pretty good team. They also lost to Ohio State by 20 points. Top 10 Kentucky lost to Ohio State by 20 points. So it just goes to show you how hit or miss that Ohio State team is. But Kentucky this season, new head coach. They do have some great players on this team. They have scoring all around the floor, averaging 89 points per game. 6 players averaging double-digit points per game. But Florida this season, they are monsters. And I mean monsters down low. They can out-rebound basically any team in the country. They are 13-0 on the season. They have not lost a game. They have great guard play. They have front court, back court, everything you want in a team Florida has. They've got three-point shooting. They have a rebound. And they have a star player in Walter Clayton Jr., who I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. So I do think Florida will be ready for this test going up against Kentucky. That's the only issue I have with Florida. They haven't really been tested this season. They've played teams like Virginia and North Carolina, but none of them have been on the road. The only road game so far this season was at Florida State. Every other game this season was either a tournament game, neutral floor, or at Florida. So this is their first true away game, SEC battle, second conference game of the season. That's the only thing I would say makes me a little bit nervous about this pick, but I do think Florida's the better team. I will take them with the points as the first play of the day. Second play, the Big 12, Baylor going up against Iowa State. This Big 12 conference, they are once again going to eat themselves alive. I think this is the best conference in all of basketball. It might be a hot take there. SEC is going to be really good this season as well, but I think the Big 12 has the best competition in college basketball. It is once again West Virginia taking down Kansas in the first Big 12 game of the year. That's when you know things are going to be exciting. I think Kansas is one of the best teams in the country. West Virginia taking them down in game number 1. It's going to be a wild ride in the Big 12 conference, but for this game, too many points. I would love to take Iowa State. Ames is one of the hardest places to play for opposing teams, especially whenever Iowa State's at home. That environment's electric. Baylor this season has been up and down about them. They can score points. They don't play very good defense. They have been tested this season. 5 games against top 25 teams, loss against Gonzaga, Tennessee, UConn, wins against Arkansas and St. John's. So Baylor has been tested this year. They do have several transfer players coming over from different teams last year. Norshad Omier from Miami and Jeremy Rhodes from Duke. So they've got some scoring and they've got some size for this Baylor team. They have basically the same numbers as Iowa State this season. I just think it's too many points. 9.5 points. I do think Iowa State's going to win. Iowa State typically is a team that says, you know what, you're not going to score on our home court. We're going to play great defense. Typically, they struggle to score. This season, that has not been the case. They're putting up 87.7 points per game. They have played a couple tough teams as well this year, lost by 2 against Auburn early in the season, beat Marquette by 11. Other than that, they haven't played any top 25 teams, but that was 2 top 5 matchups, and they lost by 2 against Auburn, and then they beat Marquette pretty easily. So this Iowa State team, they are very good. I just think 9.5 points is too many points. So once again, I will take the away team with the points. Not the best betting strategy in the world, but this is going to be where I change my tune a little bit. Spread's not out in this game. I'm assuming Alabama's going to be -4.5, -5.5, somewhere around there. I will take them in this game to cover the spread going up against Oklahoma. Oklahoma has several key players in this game that have been outstanding for them on the season. One of them is going to be Jeremiah Fears. He's a freshman. He's amazing this season, 6'4". He's got all the attributes you're looking for an NBA guard. He's scoring 18.1 points per game this season. They also have Jalen Moore, a senior transfer from Georgia Tech last year to Oklahoma. Scored 11.2 points last season for Oklahoma, now 17.2. Those are the best players on the floor for them. 34 rebounds per game. That's why I'm a little bit concerned about this team. Alabama's a 45 per game rebound team. They can dominate the glass in this one. Grant Nelson down low is going to have a field day with this Oklahoma squad. I think Alabama controls the glass. I think Alabama, if they're hitting their threes, are one of the hardest teams to beat in the NCAA. I think Alabama rolls in this one. Push the pace, push the pace. Mark Sears on the outside has been hot lately. I'm going to take him as one of my player props, but I think Alabama at home with that environment, they get it done. So I'm going to take Alabama against the spread as the final game pick for the player props. I've already mentioned both of them. We are going to be starting with Walter Clayton of Florida to go over his total points. He's averaging 17.2 points per game. Big game. This is a big game kind of environment. Walter Clayton Jr. is a big game kind of player. He has not been used over the last several games. Last big game was against North Carolina, put up 12 points, shot 15 times. I'm looking for shot volume in this game when he goes up against high-quality opponents. Looking at those games early in the season, 18 against Arizona State, 19 against Virginia, 16 against Wichita State, 18 against Wake Forest. Whenever he's playing teams to decent to high quality, he is putting a lot of shots up, and he scored 19-plus points in all those games that I mentioned. So I do think he's going to be, once again, putting up a lot of shots in this game going up against Kentucky. Like I said, he hasn't really been used a lot over the last couple weeks against Stetson and North Florida. He put up 12 points, 8 points, only shot a combined 11 times in those games. But I do think Walter Clayton, whenever the biggest lights are on, he's the player to look to. Over 16.5 points, probably going to be the play here. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Even though Florida does play pretty good defense, Kentucky's not been great defensively this season. So I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to take Walter Clayton here to go over his total points as the first play. And for the second play, I'm not touching the points. I got screwed on Mark Sears early this season. One of my favorite players in college basketball. I picked him every single day last year in college basketball. He seems like a guy who can get you 20 points every single time he's on the floor. Early in the season, he was kind of screwing me. His first 24-point game, or should say 20-point game, was against Houston. He scored 24 points in that game. That was very late in November, 11-24, right before Thanksgiving. Since then, 24, 24, 11 going up against Oregon, 20, 27, 23, 16, 20. So he's back to the Mark Sears I know and love. And in the last game, if you want to know exactly what this guy is, he's a three-point marksman. He's a three-point sharpshooter. He lives and dies by the three-point line. Sometimes he will go in, draw contact. He's very good at drawing contact, getting himself to the line. But we have not been seeing that a lot this season because Grant Nelson's been dominating down low. Might as well just give him the ball and let him go to work. But last game for Mark Sears, 14 shot attempts. All 14 of them were from deep. Against South Dakota State, he made 6 of 14, 43% shooting, scored 20 points. He shot at least 7+ threes in 7 of the last 8 games. In the game he did not shoot 7, he shot 6. So I love the shot volume we're seeing. I'm going to play this at 2.5. Might even have to play it at 3.5, but I'm going to be confident whatever this line comes out at. Mark Sears over his total threes as the play. I did mention I'm going to talk about Tennessee and Arkansas a little bit. I'm not sold on Arkansas. I don't think they're a very good team. Flan seems like a really good player, but I think Tennessee is actually the number 1 team in the country. They are ranked number 1 in the country, but I thought Kansas was the best team in the country. But Tennessee, defensively, offensively, they've got it all. So I think Tennessee's the best team in the country. They will show it going up against a top 25 team in Arkansas, who I do not think should be in the top 25. So if you're looking for another play, Tennessee against the spread would be my play for that one. But let's take a look at the recap. We're going with Florida, plus 3.5 going up against Kentucky. Baylor, plus 9.5 on the road going up against Iowa State. Alabama against the spread. They're going to be at home. I'm assuming it's going to be 5.5, 6.5, like I said. Walter Clayton Jr. over his total points, probably going to be 16.5. And then Mark Sears over his made threes, probably going to be 2.5. I really hope it's 2.5. If it's 3.5, I'm still going to play it. But I hope it's 2.5 as the play there. Guys, it's going to do it for the NCAA basketball picks and props for Saturday, January 4th slated games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please share, drop a like this video, and subscribe channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.